Hi, this is Julie Chance with Action Strategies by Design, and today we're continuing our series of videos designed for everything DiSC facilitators and leaders in their teams who have been through an Everything DiSC on Catalyst program. And we're exploring the various features available on Catalyst during these videos. Last week I talked a little bit about build a group function and some of the functionality there. My intention was to continue looking at the group functioning information, but we'll get back to that later because there is a brand new, very exciting feature that I want to let you know about today. And that feature is called Get Advice. We're here on the home page, so when you log into Catalyst, this is what you'll see. And if you look down here to the right, there's this little block that says Get Advice. And that's what we're going to explore today. So I have a hypothetical situation, although it could be real, with a hypothetical colleague. My colleague's name is Sammy Smith. And Sammy and I are going to be working together on a really important project. We have had some opportunities to interact and work together in the past, and it hasn't always gone real smoothly. So I really want to make sure that this time through, I really have an understanding of what I can do to work most effectively with Sammy. So my options for getting advice are connecting, collaborating, getting buy-in, and managing tension. I am going to take a look at collaborating because that's what he and I really need to do. And I want to get this project off to the right start. So I am going to click on collaborating, and that takes me to the page where it gives a little bit of an overview of collaborating and how similarities and differences can influence the way that we might tackle this project or approach this project together. So I need to type in the colleague that I'm looking for, and there's his name. Remember, this is a hypothetical situation and a hypothetical colleague. And so here's a little bit of information for collaborating with Sammy. It looks like I'm very unstructured. He's a little bit more structured than I am. And in terms of pace, I am much more fast-paced and he is more steady-paced. So I might get frustrated at his pace and he may feel like I'm rushing him. So some tips then to keep in mind for me is that too much flexibility can hinder progress. That we both like a laid-back approach, but we may need to get a little bit more focused and do a little bit more planning than we prefer. So both of us may need to do that. And once we acknowledge those differences, we can actually use the different strengths that we have to work together. Some tips for working together is to build some structure into our work. Talk about who's responsible for planning and implementing each piece. And then, it suggests that when I feel strongly that more urgency is called for, that I let Sammy know that and be prepared to listen to what his concerns are. So sometimes I may need to slow down a little bit. Other times I may just need to talk with him a little bit about the fact that I feel like there's more urgency needed and why, and how can we work together, and how can I be a supporter or resource in making that happen. So let's look at another one. Let's look this time at maybe managing tension. So again, I'm going to do it with Sammy Smith because he and I are working on this hypothetical project together. And oh, here's one where we're really different on both of these, right? I'm much more frank, I'm much more direct. He's much more tactful. So my straightforwardness could come across as blunt to him. And it it could and his tactfulness could look like he's saying one thing and doing another to me. So I'm very strong-willed and he's very accommodating. So here's something that I really need to keep in mind, because my strong-willedness could just bowl over Sammy, and then I'll miss out on some of his insights and ideas. Um, so the other piece is Sammy may step back and let me take the lead, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have some good ideas and that I don't need to really incorporate his ideas. It also means, a lot of times people who are really strong-willed, when people who are more accommodating and less likely to speak up, when they don't speak up, the people who are strong-willed assume that either they don't have any ideas or don't have any opinions, or they're in agreement. And that can be a real problem in terms of moving forward and working together, either individually collaborating on a project or just in day-to-day teamwork. So some tips to keep in mind is that I need to focus a little bit on setting a collaborative tone, and to really pay attention to what I say, and especially how I say it. There's a lot of different ways to deliver a message, and I need to make sure that I'm doing that in a collaborative tone. It's also going to be important that I solicit, or as Patrick Lencioni says, mine for conflict. Sammy probably isn't going to readily hold his ground if there's disagreement, and I need to be aware of that, and I need to make sure that I really ask him specifically for his opinions and then really listen. And then taking action, I need to pay attention to how Sammy reacts to my words and to the delivery of my message, and be cognizant and aware of that. Oftentimes people who are relatively fast-paced, who are direct, who are strong-willed, don't really pay great attention to others. And then the other thing that I need to do is take a step back and really talk about my point of view. And I need to take pressure off of Sammy to agree. And I also need him to have a little bit of time to get used to ideas. And then we can look at what might be causing the tension, or what might be going on. So that's the get advice function, the brand new get advice function on Catalyst. And there's two others that we could look at. I'm not going to do that now, but I would encourage you to pick a colleague, a real life colleague in a real life situation, and look at these 4 get advice topics.